Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at the Euro USD and GBPUSD and come up with trade ideas for the day, if there are any. So let's jump right into it. Looking at Forex Factory. So today's a Friday, and we do not have any high impact news on Forex Factory. So let's look at the charts. So looking at the charts, we do understand that we have been bearish, or we are bearish on the daily, and then price has been pulling back. Now we've come into this pivot of this decisional. Okay, this is the whole decisional, and we've come into the pivot, mitigated, and we are seeing a reaction. So far it's being respected. So usually if we're expecting the pullback to, well, if we're expecting the trend to resume, then this would be a good area from where the trend can resume. Okay, so we see we have a bit of a reaction. However, we don't have, clear intent. Like we're having so many indecision candles. Okay, so it is possible price could still push up, maybe sweep this high, or even come up to sweep this high before it then eventually pushes lower, if the bearish trend is to continue on the daily. Okay, otherwise it could still sweep any of these highs. Okay, and then price then still resumes and pushes lower. So as of now, we don't have much information, except that we are in a very, highest time frame point of interest, which is the daily POI in this decisional. So expectation is for price to continue bearish if the trend is to resume. So looking for more details as we look on the 4-hour. So looking at the 4-hour, the swing range is bearish, as we can see, and then internally my range is bullish. So the internal range is bullish for me because this is the last internal break of structure, and then price said this, consider this as one internal push before mitigating this pivot, and then price pushing lower. So as you can see, we are showing signs of intent, okay, to the downside. Okay, well, at least, looking at these candles, after mitigation we had a slow push down, and then we had an aggressive push up, and then an aggressive push down, creating a bearish engulf. And then now we've had another slow push up of price. However, we see price did sweep these lows. Okay, so this is possibly enough liquidity taken for price to go a bit higher. At the same time, anticipating that price might continue lower, then this could be the liquidity that will be taken again before price resumes the downtrend. But let's look at more details on the lower time frames. So looking at 15-minute. So looking at the 15-minute now, overall everything is bullish in the current direction that price is in. Okay, obviously this is the daily pivot, okay, which is a 4-hour range, which is also 15-minute range. Okay, that I'm just covering right there. So our sub internal structure is bullish, our main internal structure is also bullish, but our swing structure is bearish. But we're just focusing on current price action so that we can see or decide what we can do for the day. So for the day, as you can see, we've been in this pullback phase. All right, so within this sub-internal range, we've been in this pullback phase. We've sort of come to the extreme of this area, although there's no clear, there's no nice or clean point of interest or sell to buy range. Okay, so however, price did come lower and then pushed higher. Okay, now overall Okay, this was the last area that led to this break of structure. Okay, so that area has been broken right here. So we could say that the trend is now shifted to bearish, okay, within this range. Okay, so within that range, which is now my bearish range right there, we've had a pullback. Okay, this was sort of the decisional that led to the break, to this break, and then this decisional has been broken. So expectation is for price to come to the extreme, which is this area. Okay, all of these other areas, they have already been tested. Okay, they've already been tested. So the only area I can see would be this one. Okay, so expectation will now be that if price sweeps this area, then we look for price to continue lower. We can see we have a bit of trend line building at the bottom. So expectation is for price to continue to the downside. Okay, regardless of the fact that our sub internal is still bullish. But just looking at what price could do in the meantime and what we could look to trade, expectation is I'm looking for price to sweep that high and then look for lower time frame confirmation to go low. Okay. If for some reason price just decides to melt, then if we sweep these lows, then obviously looking for price to push higher, at least, give a reaction. Okay, so those will be my trade ideas for EU. So let's look at GU starting on the daily. So GU, we can see and we know that I've been saying this for a long time now. GU is bullish. We've come into this extreme demand. All right, we've mitigated and we are expecting price to push higher, at least to break this high. Okay, and then target this week daily high as well, this week swing high. However, in the meantime, there's not much detail because price has just stalled. Okay, it's pushed up and then sort of rejecting, and then we're respecting this high. Okay, so let's look for more details on the 4H. So on the 4H, currently we see that our internal is bullish. This was our last internal break of structure and we had a pullback, and then now we expect price to continue high to take out this weak internal high. Okay, so price came close, then gave a very strong reaction, bearish. Okay, swept these lows, then strong push up, and then another strong push lower, and then slow push to the upside. Okay, respecting this last range, or these two bullish and bearish candles that we see. So let's push in for more details and see what we can expect for the day. So for the day, so obviously we have these highs, we have these lows. Okay, so this was the last sweep yesterday, and then price pushed higher. Okay, so remember I was saying that I'm expecting price to push lower. Okay, I was expecting price to push lower yesterday because of this imbalance right here. Okay, now I do understand that price has already mitigated this sell to buy range. Okay, and this is the initial reaction after the sweep. Okay, so price did push up, however it's failed to really push up and make a higher high, although it can still do it. Okay, because now we've made a higher low and we see prices slowly pushing to the upside. Now a concern I have is that it seems to be building liquidity to the downside. Okay, so this seems to be some very nice liquidity being built up. Okay, so my expectation is still that price will continue lower. So maybe price will come up, sweep these highs, and then expect to see that push to the downside. Now whether it will push until it comes into these areas, okay, so that means come into there. All right, that remains to be seen. But what we have is we're seeing a reaction. Okay, so we're expecting price to push higher, sweep that high, and then if that happens, then I'll definitely be looking for shorts. Okay, otherwise the only other way for me to look for buys is for if price pushes lower, sweeps either this area or sweeps the one below it. Okay, and then I can start thinking about looking for longs. Okay, but as of now, I think sells are the way to go. Okay, so those are my trade ideas for today. So please, if you do like this material, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know how you're using it in your own trading, and it also just encourages me to keep doing this if I see that people are actually interested. So have a great day and have a great weekend ahead, and Working Trader out.